Welcome back to Elisabeth Hogarth Designs. Last week we looked at the ink drops and I showed you a sneak peek of the ocean papers. Well, my actual pads have arrived. I ordered them. They've come really quickly. So I've got the 6x6 and the 12x12, and I won't talk you through every single page, but you may want to see just how glorious these colours and these designs are. So you've got your pale blues mixed with your creams and your golds, and as I mentioned last week, the ink drops are brilliant for different types of crafting, not just using for backgrounds. So they give the effect of inks being dropped onto oil or a marbling effect, and this one is a particular favourite of mine. It's only been out a few weeks, but blues and greens are right up my street, and I just think these designs are on another level, and because of that they've inspired me to do some crafting this week, and I thought that I would spend some time and show you what I've been making. If you've got any questions about any of the makes, then leave a comment below. If there's a particular card that you would like to see me make, then do say, and I will do my best to help you along with the design process. So this is the first idea that I had. So here we've got the ink drops papers in the background, and I've also used them to die cut this lighthouse here. And then I made up another little journal, which again you can see the details of in last week's video, but I've used the 12x12 papers. If you made last week's tag book, then all I've done here to make these pockets is to score either side about 2 centimeters in, folded them in, and then made the book in the same way. But I've used the ink drops ocean to make the tag book itself, and then to get the effect of the travelling paper, this is an ink set from AALL Create. It's a very large A4 set, but I felt that I would get good use from it, and I used it as a background paper, and I actually stamped on like watercolour, quite thick watercolour paper, and softened it with water. But I used salvage patina, tumbled glass, salty ocean, prize ribbon and twisted citron, and I used the colours in a mishmash of ways, and you can see that the papers themselves are slightly smudgy, so I did 3 or 4 versions. I've got 3 or 4 left, and you can see how the colours work out with these particular cards. The next card was made as a Valentine's card for my son. This is another version of it, but I fell in love with the new Tim Holtz die, which is Simple Plaid. And I've also got a set of the bold text dies. I absolutely love these. These are right up my street because of the bold font. This is the card itself. So I've used the die cut plaid in the background. I did cut off the edges because I didn't want the frame, and then I've made another tag. I put the ocean paper behind it. This plaid here was cut with the ocean paper, and then I die cut the Love You and put the Craft Consortium paper behind it, and then coordinated it with hearts. But I like this particular one here because it looks like it's planet Earth. I also treated myself to the Tim Holtz doily and damask 3D embossing folders. They are fantastic, and you can see it highlighted here, but this time the ocean paper is in the background. I then die cut these squares and layered them up, this inky design, with, this was a stamp set from L'Encre and L'Image. And this is a French design company. I particularly like This is the reason why I bought the stamp set. It's maybe a year or so old, but I love this jar. I use this a lot, but to get this effect here, I use this particular stamp set. I also cut this stamp here because I only wanted the precious memories. So don't be afraid to cut into your stamps if there's something in particular that you want to use. You remember the funky fossils designs that I was working with last week? Well, I also had the dies and the stencils. So this stencil here formed this background panel, which I've layered up onto the more turquoise pages of the ocean papers. And then I die cut one of the little birdies, and I really do love the sentiments in this stamp set. This is the Majestic Blooms, and it's got things like, I hope your day is blooming marvellous, and I just like the text, and I like the fact that the sentiments are slightly different. Last but not least, I've got the new set of stamps from Catkin Crafts. Now, Catkin Crafts are from the lovely ladies behind Pink Ink Designs, so you can see their style within this particular stamp. So this one here is Hilda. So this is Hilda Hare, and I actually paper pieced her. So if you look carefully, you can see that the ocean papers have been used for the die set in the back, the panels, and then this foreground panel I used a paler blue and I stamped directly onto it, and then you can see some dimension on there because Hilda and some of the flowers have been paper pieced. So as well as making that beautiful card, I made another set of tags which I also enjoy doing. So these were with the champignon and the cocoon, and then Hilda once again. So here you can see Hilda in all her glory, and again it's been paper pieced, but this is the ocean background, and then here I've incorporated the candy drops. So this is the cocoon with the magical tree and the lanterns, and then you've got champignon. I'll have to re-stick that sequin with Hilda in the foreground. So if you want to have a go at making a tag like this, let me give you a few pointers. Away from the camera, I've already die cut a tag shape from the 12 by 12 ocean paper, and I've put some scrap card behind the tag because Hilda's ears are going to be slightly higher than the top of the tag. Now this is an older ink pad, so I might have to go in a couple of times. All I'm doing is using my VersaFine Nocturne Clear inks, just tapping the ink over the stamp, and then bringing my stamp to the platform. Just move that one out of the way, and then pressing down. Take your time with this part. I use a cleaning mop just to put some pressure on the stamp itself, and then we'll lift it up and we've got a lovely image. I'm not too worried about these missing parts here because what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to paper piece over the top of Hilda, but I like the impression that this part has had. The only reason that's happened is because, as I say, this is a much older ink pad. So let's take this out of the block. The next thing I did was find my ink drops candies, and I wanted this one because I've got a greater mix of colours. I wanted to add some interest to the colours that I was using on the hair, so I'm taking advantage of the fact that I've got some pink in here, and then this will coordinate with the body, or I might go for mainly the orange hair and then add maybe the lilac kerchief or take elements from here. So I will fussy cut these areas out, and then these will layer up onto my tag. top tip for when you're layering up or you're paper piecing something like this is to actually cut onto the lines themselves rather than leaving a gap. So I'm doing this part quite carefully because there are other elements that I will want to use within the finished tag, and I'll also keep all the extra parts because I want to be able to stamp onto them with the 4 extra flowers. Once again, I fussy cut out some more of the elements away from the camera, but I want to continue on with this scene. So rather handily in the set there are some smaller coordinating flowers. So this time I'm going to use my little ink blocks and I'm going to bring in another flower at the end here. And then I think I'll do the same over this side here. Let's move this out a little bit so we're not touching the... And we want to do a different height. I don't want it to be the same height as that one, so I'm going to come down slightly. Add one in there. And then we've got a feathery type one, which is like this one here. So it's going to pop one of those on there. One of those on there. And then one smaller stamp. It's like this particular one here. So let's just bring that into the gap there. And one at the end there. I might just pop another one up this side as well to give the illusion that it's like the rest of the stamp here. And then what will happen is I will take some of the strips that I've cut out and I will lay them so it's like this band at the bottom is continuing on. So let's clear down our desk and then we will carry on with the paper piecing. We're at the point now where we've cut out enough of the elements, so I keep all of these because I might need to stamp onto them and I might want to add another element as we go further on. But now it's a matter of building up the scene and then adding in the different flowers and the hair and the ears and all of those different bits. So we're going to begin with Hilda herself. So this is the main image that we're going to stick on, but in order to give it a little bit more depth I'm going to use some pin flare glue gel. So to add Hilda here on here and give her a little bit of depth, I'm going to add some glue gel. This does take a little time to dry, but I'm able to keep on gluing. If you're not comfortable doing that, then use some small foam pads, or indeed put the hair together first, leave it to dry and then add it onto your tag. So I'm just going for the main areas with just small, it's like a grain of rice, it's so small. It looks bigger on the camera here because I have you in close up. And then I don't need anything on the ears because that's going above the tag. And then I'm just going to use my tweezers to line her up and then gently layer her on. I'm then going to add a different colour for the legs. And I think again I'm going to add some glue gel. And when this sets, it's very secure. It adds dimension to the project. It's also pretty lightweight, so you can still send these things through the post. You can also use the old mini foam tapes like we used to use for candy. I'm just going to pop that on there, and then I'm just going to slightly push the body down but leave the legs where they are. I've then got an orange section of here because I wanted to bring in another colour. So this is, again, it's pin flare glue. And I'm going to take some of the glue off onto my silicone mat and then lay it down onto the coordinating area, like so. It's quite forgiving, so you can wriggle it around a little bit. And then we've got the other side. So as I was cutting, I was looking at all the different patterns, and you can cut into them, and then you can get all the different tones that you want, and then you can just match them up. And someone would think that you sat and you coloured this. I'm also going to add this section here with the orange of the eye, like so. You don't need a lot of glue to hold it in place, so this time you need to line it up like so. And then we've got the tiniest bit of orange here. It's an absolute slither that I've cut out, so I'm going to put some glue onto my mat. I'm going to dip the slither into it, and I'm going to try and line it up. So this particular bit here is, that's it. Move that around slightly, and it just adds another little area of interest. I've also got the nose around here somewhere, but that will have to, it will have to show itself to me in a minute. So then I'm going to use that glue again, and I'm going to add some flowers. This one here I want to raise up slightly, so we're going back to the pin flare. And again, I'm using the colours to make the design more interesting. So I've got a hint of pink and a hint of orange in there. And then we've got another centerpiece here. So you can leave all of the outside as you wish, but you're bringing the colour in by using an extra piece and adding the centre. This does take a little bit of time to do, but it's very mindful, it's very relaxing, and you really end up with some lovely results. So we've got another feathery flower there, so we'll pop that, and you can see that it's coming together quite nicely. We need a little bit more glue. Try not to over flood these smaller pieces with glue, because you don't want to mark the tag underneath. So we need a little bit more on there. Go in again. Also, when I'm working at my desk, I might possibly use an extra light or a magnifying glass just to allow me to see the pieces up close and personal. I haven't got the best eyesight, but it doesn't stop me working on more intricate pieces like this. There's always a way round it. You can always find a solution to these things. So then I think I might pop that one under there because you've got a bit of orange, and pop that under Hilda's toes like so, and then we'll bring in, might go this way, and then maybe add a little bit of orange. I've got pink here. You can line up, it's like a repeating pattern, so you can line up this bottom bar here like so, and then I've got an extra bit here. I think I might just add that on, and then afterwards, once it's dry, I'll cut the side of the tag away. So let's see if I've got any extra bits. Oh, we have. So here we've got the nose. Just line that up in there like so, and then we've got another set of leaves here. Still got a little bit too much glue on that one. Take that away from there, line that up, and you can see how quickly it comes together. I then need to go in and cut some of these extra elements here, so I want to bring a little bit more orange in to mirror what's going on here. And don't forget, you can also add further colour with your inks and your pencils, as I showed last week. So when this is dried, I will possibly add another layer here and colour in this here with my pens, so that like on this one here, I've added an extra layer of pencil here on top of the orange. And on this one here I used pen, and on this one here again I used a mixture of pens and pencils and a little bit of sparkle pen. So what I'll do is I'll leave this to dry at this stage, and then I would come back in, and as you can see on this one here, I would add some sparkle just to add that little bit of interest, and then some of the sequins. Those of you that have followed my channel will know that I now show the projects all over again really quickly. This is the finished tag that we worked on. The pink pen exploded, so I've got glittery pink ink all over my fingers, but I like the way that that one's turned out, and I've added Born to Stand Out because that's another nice sentiment. I backed it with the candy drops, so that's another tag to go with this selection here. So don't forget, this was the ocean, and then these ones here we added the candy drops papers as well. We've got the card that's actually a Wednesday wonder on my Facebook group called Creative Minds Kind Hearts, so I can leave you a link for that below if you're interested. We've got the Tim Holtz graphic card. We've got our Funky Fossils card, the All and Create Lighthouse and map, and our little mini journal. And then my favourite of the week has been this particular card here, because I enjoyed this paper piecing, how these colours came together. So I think you'll probably agree with me, it's a fabulous paper set. Don't just use it for your backgrounds. Like I said last week, these papers you can stamp, you can die cut, you can add paints to, you can spritz. There's just so much that you could do. You can heat emboss on them. The quality is excellent, and I think the colours on this particular one are my absolute favourites. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please do subscribe to my channel and hit that alert bell so that you know when my next YouTube videos are coming along. I think I'm going to have some design team work to do over the next few days, so I'll let you know how I get on, and I look forward to welcoming you back here again soon. Bye bye for now. Take care.